celebrate, 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 have a good time, celebrate, relax your mind, celebrate and have fun, celebrate, it's never done. Join the party, island party, join the party, island party, come celebrate, 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 have a good time, celebrate, relax your mind, celebrate and have fun, celebrate, it's never done. Join the party, island party, join the party, island party, come celebrate. Relax your mind, celebrate and have fun, celebrate, it's never done. Join the party, island party, join the party, island party. Celebrate, 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 have a good time. Relax your mind, celebrate and have fun, celebrate, it's never done. Join the party, island party, join the party, island party.
Oh yeah! Let's go, Sky Band. This is your boy Bloody. Oh yeah, oh yeah. You come to tell you all about some crap. I ain't want no bamboo, I don't want no heat, I don't want no dirty scoundrel stuck between my teeth. I'm feeling zombies, guess I done play that out. All I want is that sweet juicy crab in my mouth. I want me some crab sauce, I can buy the crab house. I want me some crab sauce, I can buy the crab house. Sweet juicy I crab. Want me some crab sauce, I can buy the crab house. All I want is that sweet juicy crab in my mouth. Oh yeah.
Tonight, Sands contemplates his political future after a crushing defeat at the polls. Also, will murder charges be brought against the American husband whose wife went missing at sea? And later, a Cuban national sexually assaulted. We've got the details from police. Eyewitness News starts now. Good Friday evening, everyone. I'm Janae Noel. Thanks so much for joining us. Topping news tonight, a major shakeup appears to be taking shape inside the Free National Movement. This as the party defends its decision to postpone its leadership convention. Free National Movement Chair Dr. Dwayne Sands has now revealed he will not seek another term in the chair, setting the stage for a new chapter in the party's leadership. The announcement coming at a critical time for the FNM as it attempts to regroup following its election defeat and mounting questions about its internal governance.
You know, as I spoke to the council, I made it clear to them that, that as I chaired the meeting, as we discussed the timing of our convention, that in no way was my own personal political fortunes a part of the metric, as I do not intend to run for chairman again. I'm thrilled with the opportunity that I've had. I appreciate the trust given to me by the Free National Movement, which remains the best political vehicle in the country.
What's next? Eyewitness News questioning Sands on whether or not he will still offer himself for frontline politics following his third loss.
I have not made that decision. So, at this point, it's simply a matter of, where am I? I'm not going to be offering. I will serve my time out as chairman, and then, we'll see what happens. But I have no other plans, either hidden, considered, held to my chest, or what have you.
On to some other news tonight. The search for answers in the disappearance of Lynette Hooker continues in Abaco tonight, but the investigation is now expanding beyond the water as authorities work to determine exactly what happened. Questions are also emerging about what comes next should investigators gather enough evidence to pursue criminal charges. Our Lyndon Ritchie Jr. has the night.
As U.S. authorities continue their investigation into the disappearance of Lynette Hooker, Bahamian officials say any potential criminal case against her husband, Brian Hooker, could face significant legal hurdles if prosecution were pursued in the Bahamas. Minister of Legal Affairs and Attorney General Wayne Munro explaining that even if a crime is alleged to have occurred in one country, it does not necessarily mean a suspect must be tried there.
If he is actually in their jurisdiction, they wouldn't have to ask us anything. If we determine that we wish to charge somebody who's in the U.S., we would have to ask them to extradite the person to us for trial.
It has now been 2 months since Lynette Hooker disappeared at sea. U.S. authorities have since confirmed they are investigating the matter as a suspected homicide. Hooker vanished during what was described as a short dinghy trip between Hopetown and Elbow Key, Abaco. Her husband has told investigators that rough seas threw her overboard, leaving him to paddle to shore for hours. That account has remained under scrutiny throughout the investigation. More recently, U.S. investigators obtained GPS data from Brian Hooker's cell phone that reportedly identified locations different from those previously provided to both Bahamian and American authorities. Following those developments, the U.S. Coast Guard returned to Bahamian waters to assist with investigations. A team arrived in the Bahamas on Tuesday evening, and search operations have continued since then. Eyewitness News has obtained photographs showing members of the U.S. Coast Guard and the Royal Bahamas Defense Force searching an area of the Sea of Abaco on Thursday morning. With the search effort now renewed, questions remain about whether any criminal future proceedings could take place if evidence is discovered. Munro says that determination would depend largely on U.S. laws and the facts of the case.
Their law permits extraterritorial jurisdiction, either because the victim was an American or because the perpetrator was an American. Then they would be free to move that matter in their court.
To date, Brian Hooker has not been charged with any offense and continues to maintain his innocence through his attorney, Terrell Butler. Lyndon Ritchie Jr., Eyewitness News.
Well, a 26-year-old woman recovering in hospital after police say she was the victim of a brutal assault in the Bozeman town area early this morning. Investigators report that the woman, a Cuban national, reportedly ran into a residential yard seeking help shortly before 2 a.m. after allegedly being physically and sexually assaulted. Police say preliminary information suggests that the victim was taken to the area by an unknown man who allegedly attacked her, stole her personal belongings, including her purse, cash, cell phone, and passport. Emergency medical services responded to the scene, transporting that woman to hospital for treatment. Her condition has not been disclosed at this time. Police are urging anyone with information that could assist with this investigation to come forward tonight. Meantime, police seizing more than 4 pounds of suspected hydroponic marijuana during a drug operation in Grand Bahama. Officers from the Drug Enforcement Unit, assisted by the Anti-Gang and Firearm Investigation Task Force, acting on intelligence, conducted a search of a bushy area off of Allenbrook Lane on Wednesday. Authorities say they discovered a white bucket containing vacuum-sealed packages of suspected marijuana hidden in the area. The drugs, weighing approximately 4.1 pounds, have an estimated street value of $8,200. No arrests were reported as investigations continue tonight. Prosecutors have appealed the 7-year prison sentence handed to a mother and daughter convicted of attempting to murder 2 of their tenants, arguing that the punishment does not fit the crime. The Crown contends that 57-year-old Michelle Williams and her 37-year-old daughter, Glenrisha Williams, should have received 25-year sentences given the serious nature of the offense and the trauma suffered by the victims. The women were convicted last November in connection with the October 2021 shooting of Adrian Cooper and Savannah Bay near Comer Street. According to evidence presented at trial, the victims were confronted over rent money before a man accompanying the defendants allegedly opened fire. Cooper testified that a bullet grazed his face, while both victims told the court they feared for their lives during the ordeal. Defense attorneys had urged the court to show leniency, citing the women's previous good character and lack of prior convictions. The Court of Appeal will now decide whether the sentences should be increased. Meantime, the State Minister of Immigration, Darren Pickstock, is moving to clarify proposed amendments to the Bahamas Nationality Act, stating the changes will not open any new pathway to permanent residency. This comes after Free National Movement MP Dr. Andre Rollins accused the Davis administration of attempting to introduce what he called a dangerous loophole for exploitation. But Minister Pickstock is pushing back, emphasizing that the amendments are not designed to expand immigration routes or create new residency options. He says instead, the proposed changes are largely administrative, including adjustments to fees associated with permanent residency applications.
And as you know, these applications are reviewed by the government and ultimately determined by cabinet. So in cases where their citizenship is not approved, in those instances, cabinet through the Minister of Immigration may, after considering all of the circumstances, connect or determine that permanent residency is more appropriate and a more appropriate status and recommend that it be granted. In those instances, you would have paid $50 for that application. That's being increased to $500.
Still talking news from immigration tonight. Between May 28th and June 4th, the deportation and removal units have carried out a series of enforcement operations, resulting in the removal of 69 foreign nationals from the Bahamas. According to officials, those deported included 66 Haitians, 1 Honduran, 1 Ecuadorian, and 1 Jamaican. The department reports that all standard health and safety protocols were followed throughout this operation to ensure the well-being of both officers and detainees. Authorities say the exercise forms part of the ongoing effort to enforce immigration laws and also maintain compliance across the country. The department is again urging members of the public to report suspected immigration violations. You can call 604-0249 or 604-01 7-1. On to some other news tonight from labor. Questions continue to mount over the government's proposed pension reform, with some public officers and union representatives raising concern about what the changes could mean for their retirement security. But tonight, the Labor and Public Service Minister, Pia Glover-Roll, is defending the proposal, arguing that reform is necessary to protect the long-term stability of the system and also to ensure future benefits can be sustained. The minister insisting tonight that the government is responding to the realities of an evolving workforce and a growing financial burden that can no longer be ignored. Laurencia Smith has the details.
Labor and Public Service Minister Pia Glover-Roll is defending government's proposed pension reform, insisting the changes are necessary to protect the long-term viability of the system. The minister comments made on the radio talk show Immediate Response with Spence Findelson, coming amid growing debate over the proposal, including concerns raised by union representatives and some public servants who have questioned the need for the change.
Realistically, we cannot continue to sustain a non-contributory pension because, first of all, our workforce is expanded. You have greater length of work. People are working longer.
Yes.
And that's why we're also considering how we are going to expand the retirement age.
Glover-Roll noted that while the current retirement age remains 65, discussions are underway about possible changes in the future to address demographic and financial pressures facing the system.
How we can improve by expanding our retirement age. This isn't a localized conversation. As I visit labor forums around the region and the world,
yes,
it's a conversation. People are living and working longer.
The minister argues that failing to address those changes now could have serious consequences for the future of retirees and government's ability to meet its obligations.
In one space, we've already looked at the fact that if we extend our retirement age by another 2 to 3 years, we could save some $50 million in terms of our pension fund. The National Insurance Board currently pays about 50,000 pensioners on a monthly basis. That's $34 million a month in pensions.
She maintains that proposals are designed to strengthen retirement security for public officers while reflecting the realities of today's workforce. Under the proposal, employees will contribute at least 3% of a pension salary, while the government will contribute 5%. The reform efforts are being led by the Ministry of Finance. Laurencia Smith, Eyewitness News.
Meantime, as thousands prepare to take part in Friday's Labor Day parade, a special tribute will be held to honor 4 women who lost their lives in one of the darkest moments in the event's history. This year, marking 8 years since Diane Ferguson, Tammy Williams Gibson, Kathleen Rogers Fernander, and Tabitha Bethelhay were killed when an unoccupied Ford F-150 truck rolled into a crowd of marchers on E Street near Shirley Street during the 2018 parade. To commemorate their lives and legacies, residents will gather at 8:30 tomorrow on East Garden of Zion Boulevard Baptist Church to plant flowering trees in their memory. The ceremony will serve as a reminder of that tragedy that shook the nation and forever changed the celebration of Labor Day in the Bahamas. Meanwhile, with thousands expected to take to the streets for the annual parade tomorrow, organizers and police are reminding participants that certain items will not be permitted on that route tomorrow. The PLP Vice Chair of Logistics, Bradley Kemp, outlining a number of restrictions ahead of the event as authorities move to strictly enforce safety measures that have been in place in previous years but were not always followed. Officials say the rules are designed to ensure a safe and orderly parade for participants and spectators, with police expected to take a zero-tolerance approach to violations. Kemp says attendees should familiarize themselves with the guidelines before heading to the parade tomorrow.
All persons of interest who is coming to our Labor Day march, that the police is advising you not to bring four-wheelers or motor scooters. Thirdly, there are no 40-foot trailers on the parade. Any 40-foot trailers will be sidelined, so don't waste time bringing them. Any four-wheelers or motor scooters will be confiscated, and you will have to bring your paperwork to prove ownership in order to get the bike back. So please do not bring any four-wheelers, do not bring any scooters on the parade, as they are very dangerous, and people tend not to function properly on them. Okay, so the police is letting you know that if you bring any four-wheelers or any motor scooters on the parade, that they will be confiscated.
Meantime, the TUC president, Obie Ferguson, says his Labor Day speech tomorrow will focus on continued advocacy for minimum wage increases from the current $260 per week to anywhere from $300 to $350 per week, and he's shedding more light on other unresolved labor matters. Ferguson and some union members boycotted the Labor Day parade last year after terms of a memorandum of understanding were not satisfactorily met, but this year, he says, they will be present.
I'm delivering a Labor Day speech at Sudden Recreation Ground tomorrow. And my speech on behalf of the Congress and the Bahamian workers is going to be focused on a workers' agenda for the next 5 years. We have a commitment to do some things for this country, and we're going to work with the working people.
Well, we've added another access point to make sure you're up to date with the latest news. Follow the Eyewitness News WhatsApp channel, scan that QR code on your screen, or visit our social media pages for a direct link. While you're there, don't forget to follow Eyewitness News on Instagram and Facebook. But if you've got a news tip or if you see news in the making, call the Eye on News hotline 397-6397. We also invite you to send your letters to the editor for publication on all of our social media platforms, Eyewitness News Bahamas at gmail.com. And if you're watching on our Facebook or YouTube page, share your thoughts about today's stories in the comments section. We want to hear from you. We're just getting started in Eyewitness News tonight, but when we come back, a philanthropist says he's moving forward with a major project despite dispute over Crown land. We've got that story coming up. And later tonight, an update on the government's bid to the UN Security Council. We've got more on that right after this break.
Vibes is resilience in motion. So even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the vibes back. At BTC, we understand your vibes because we live it. That's why we are dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You are at the heart of everything we do. Our commitment is to keep your vibes flowing, no matter what.
Captain Cash & Co. viral videos have shown you using what is said to be super speed to deliver cash to citizens around the world. Can you explain this?
Those people are simply taking advantage of Cash & Go's Cash Now money lending service, our easy-to-use money lending portal.
How does it work?
Well, you simply enter your information along with a recent payslip, a picture of your ID, and then select your loan amount and the repayment term. We review it as soon as possible. And then once approved, we could have your cash delivered to your mobile wallet, or we could send it directly to a bank of your choosing. Any more questions?
No. Thanks, Cash & Go, man.
It's Captain Cash & Go.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and everybody watching from Nassau. Tonight, we welcome a star. So please join me in welcoming the barbecue rap star, star of the show!
KFC, it's finger licking good.
Hey, psst, it's me, Cyndi Lauper. Cyndi Lauper, Saturday, June 20th at Atlantis, Bahamas. Cyndi Lauper. Tickets on sale now at atlantislive.com. And it's going to be a party, a big celebration. Don't miss Cyndi Lauper live.
This segment of Eyewitness News is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division.
For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back. Here's a look at your Eyewitness News gas tracker. You're getting the cheapest tonight at Rubis, $6.65. Shell coming in at $6.85. Esso the highest tonight, $6.95. Welcome back. Those were your local prices at the pump. Well, tonight, our Laurentia Smith sitting down with the head of Great Commission Ministries to discuss the organization's Plan B and what it means for the future of Hope City. It's their homeless shelter project. She has this update.
Bishop Walter Hanchel says after decades of waiting for Crown land promised to the Great Commission Ministries during the Pilling administration in the early 1990s, he's now moving ahead with Plan B to make the Hope City homeless shelter a reality.
Either purchase a tract of land, preferably around 10 to 15 acres, and build our facility on private property, or perhaps, God willing, get some land donated.
But how did the ministry end up pursuing an alternative plan? Well, Hanchel says it initially moved forward with the development of the proposed shelter on Carmichael Road after being granted a half-acre of land. The organization says the foundation work had already begun on the project. However, Hanchel claims that the development was brought to a standstill after a legal dispute emerging over the property, creating a major obstacle for the project and forcing the ministry to reassess its plans.
We got a letter advising us to get off the property. We took the matter up with the Office of the Prime Minister, and I personally met with the Prime Minister, and he said that he would deal with it, and he referred it to officials at the Office of the Prime Minister.
Hanchel says that he has raised the issue with successive administrations over the years, including both the Free National Movement and the Progressive Liberal Party government, in efforts to resolve the matter. Eyewitness News reviewed a correspondence sent by Hanchel to the Office of the Prime Minister in September of 2025, seeking assistance with the dispute. According to the communications officer, the matter is being currently reviewed.
To the OPM and the officials and those persons responsible for land distribution in the Bahamas, to make sure that we do things fairly, make sure that whatever decisions you make, you consider the plight of the poor.
Great Commission Ministry was established in 1987 and has provided assistance for thousands of Bahamians throughout its history. A visit at the organization headquarters often reveals long lines of individuals receiving hot meals, groceries, and other essential support through its community outreach programs. The ministry maintains that the proposed Hope City homeless shelter would expand its ability to serve more of the country's most vulnerable residents. Laurentia Smith, Eyewitness News.
Well, Trade Union Congress President O.B. Ferguson responding to news by the National Insurance Board yesterday that effective July 1st of this year, the weekly insurable wage ceiling increases from $810 to $830, the monthly ceiling from $3,510 to $3,597, and all minimum pension rates and grants will be increased by 1.5%.
Anything that advances the working people will be, we will give credit to whom. Look here, we are interested in the welfare of the Bahamian. If the minister, if the prime minister make an announcement that advances the workers, you think we're gonna oppose that? We're gonna welcome it. So no, it's a good move. I don't have a difficulty with that. I don't think any worker would have a difficulty, or any union would have any difficulty. What I'm saying, we do things sometimes in little pockets. We have to find a way to advance the average Bahamian in this country.
Well, as we said, as of July 1st, the National Insurance pension and grants will increase by 1.5%, while workers earning more than $810 per week began paying slightly more to NIB contributions as the insurable wage ceiling rose. Eyewitness News turned to social media posing the question, do you think the NIB increase is enough to help with the rising cost of living? 5% of participants voting yes, it is enough. 8% voting somewhat, but it should be higher. Some 83% voted no, it's not enough. 5% said that they were unsure. Be sure to continue to participate in our daily digital polls as your voice matters. Meantime, surveying professionals are sounding the alarm over what they say is a shortage of qualified Bahamians entering the field. Industry leaders warn that without greater investment in training, education, professional development, the country could struggle to meet the growing demand for land surveying services. Our Danielle Dean has the story tonight.
Foreign professionals continuing to dominate the local land surveying industry remains a major concern for President of the Bahamas Association of Land Surveyors, Roderick Wood.
Our concern about that topic has not gone away. The government is still employing surveyors from outside the country. We just want to say to the general public and the government that it is our duty to put in place the things that we can, as Bahamians, that we can pull from within ourselves, the amount of persons that we need to fill the demand for land surveying.
Wood says the problem stems from a shortage of qualified Bahamian surveyors, a challenge he attributes to insufficient investment in local training and education. While government continues to fund studies abroad, Wood argues greater emphasis should be placed on developing the profession here at home to meet growing demand.
The Bahamas government is contributing to institutions around the world that offer surveying financially. They're paying other universities around the world, right? Somehow we need to consider investing that money in the University of the Bahamas so that we can bring that program here in surveying, or we have to fill those seats at, say, the University of Jamaica or the institution in Trinidad. We need to make sure we get 5 to 10 people in those seats if we're going to be contributing $1 million or $250,000, whatever the amount of money is, to those institutions. We need to fill those seats with Bahamians and bring those trained, educated Bahamians back to the Bahamas.
Attempts to reach Education Minister Chester Cooper for comment up to news time were unsuccessful. However, more details on education spending are expected during the upcoming budget debate. Meanwhile, members of the association have returned from the International Federation of Surveyors Global Conference in Cape Town, South Africa, where they re-established the Bahamas' standing with the organization after losing its membership last year due to outstanding fees.
And in fact, even for us to get the invitation to be there, we had to deal with all those financial situations behind the scene. We paid those, and we have made the commitment, however we do it internally, to keep those payments current.
Wood says all costs associated with the trip were covered by the association. Looking ahead, he says the country needs at least 10 new surveyors each year over the next 5 years to meet industry demand, a goal he hopes can be achieved through the newly formed Young Surveyors Network. For now, he says the Bahamas is once again engaged with the global surveying community and positioned to move the profession forward. Danielle Dean, Eyewitness News.
Meantime, Trinidad and Tobago has secured one of the 5 non-permanent seats on the United Nations Security Council for the 2027-2028 term. Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell joining in the congratulatory messages for the island nation, adding that the country supported Trinidad's bid. The election was held just a day ago, cementing Trinidad as a leading voice during this term for small island developing states.
Issues which face us as small island developing states are global issues, and there's a need for us to have a global voice. So Trinidad and Tobago is that global voice for the Caribbean region on the Security Council. We supported them, and we wish them well, and we expect that CARICOM will be supporting our bid come when the vote takes place in 2031 for the 32-33 term.
The Bahamas is continuing its historic campaign for a non-permanent seat on the Security Council. Mitchell says the members of the Foreign Service are continuing their work to ensure that the Bahamas is successful and continues its advocacy for climate and sustainability matters.
It requires going from place to place, minister to minister, prime minister to prime minister, and asking for support. At the moment, it appears that we have a clean slate because no one else from the region has put their name in. But we don't expect that to continue going forward. But let's hope it does, and if it does, then we're in without too much of a problem. But what you do is you make sure that in your campaign you say what your theme is going to be, and of course, climate change, peace, and security are the issues which we'll be trying to bring to the fore. And of course, as I said, being a voice for small island developing states.
So to come in Eyewitness News tonight, roadworks on Exuma continue. We've got the latest details coming up, but first, a check on tonight's weather forecast.
Welcome back to The Movement, your energy and transport briefing. In this special edition, we look back at 2025, a year of milestones, breakthroughs, and real impact across both energy and transport in the Bahamas.
From groundbreaking energy projects to safer streets for our communities, 2025 is setting the pace for progress. Let's start by seeing how energy is powering our islands forward.
2025 marked a major leap in renewable energy. With the National Energy Policy 2025 to 2030 finalized, the foundation was set for cleaner, more reliable power. The Energy Summit brought it to life, spotlighting multi-island power purchase agreements, New Providence's first utility-scale solar project, and LNG agreements shaping a more sustainable future.
We are carefully overseeing each development, with most stations expected to be online by the fourth quarter of 2026.
The ministry's transport initiatives focused on safety and connectivity. School crossing guards and solar-powered signs improved road safety, while the Drive Safe to Arrive Alive campaign reinforced safe driving nationwide. Partnerships with AdFi and BTC also brought Wi-Fi to public buses and taxis, improving connectivity for commuters. 2025 wasn't just a year of plans, it was a year of action. Every ministry-led project and partnership brought cleaner energy, safer roads, and stronger connections, shaping a future Bahamians can rely on.
We have chosen a future where Bahamians can rely on their energy system instead of worrying about it.
I'm Larissa Lundy, and this is The Movement, your energy and transport briefing. 2025 set the pace, and our future is already in motion. Stay with us.
Step into any Super Value or Quality Supermarkets location for specials like Chef Boyardee spaghetti and meatballs, 15 ounces, $1.69. Jakar vegetable oil, 40 ounces, $4.49. Whole chicken wings, $1.69 per pound. Turkey wings, $2.99 per pound. Sunday Delight smooth or tangy drinks, 64 ounces, $2.99. You'll be singing a happy tune this June with the specials at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
At BOB, we take pride in our business banking.
My name is Olivia Paget. I'm the owner of the Stone Crab Restaurant. I chose Bank of Bahamas as my financial partner because it's a local bank. They take care of all my financial transactions. The payroll goes to them. I describe my relationship with the Bank of Bahamas team as very friendly, really working with me as a business owner. And they are very helpful when it comes to giving advice on how to make these dreams reality.
You're watching Eyewitness News.
Welcome back. The Bahamas Striping Group of companies continue roadworks across Exuma. The company is now wrapping up the first phase of its infrastructure project, backed by a $100 million investment from the African Export-Import Bank. Managing Director Melanie Roach sharing that with the first contract nearly complete, the company is now preparing for phase 2, but it's seeking residents' opinions before moving forward.
They've seen tremendous growth on the island of Exuma. We have to get the views of the stakeholders. So we're planning to have a town meeting on June 18th where everybody in Exuma would be able to come and give their input as to what they would like to see happen to improve traffic flow and congestion. And not just traffic, pedestrian, because we want to make it safe for residents and visitors. And Georgetown Primary School is in the middle of town, so we want to make sure that we can improve the safety aspect of the roads in Georgetown proper.
So to come in Eyewitness News tonight, our Laurentia Smith has your latest check on sports right after this break.
Tourism today, Bahamas tourism today.
We call it rake and scrape music, the indigenous music of the Bahamas. It's passed along from one generation to the other because the culture is so instilled into the Bahamian, especially the males. If you give him an empty container, the first thing he would do is start beating junkanoo. Everything was either rake or you scraping. And so the music was named after the motions you're making. Because we descendants of Africa, and we picked up that music, that's what it is, that African beat. We picked up that same beat of the drums. Then we add the rhythm with the guitar, and then the rakes and scrape fill in. And that's what makes it complete. When you play rake and scrape, it's of the free spirit. Whatever you feel, you play. It tells the story in that sound. It draws a crowd. Rake and scrape. Sweetest music on this side of heaven.
For more tourism updates, visit Tourism Today or Bahamas.com. I'm Michael Miller, and this is Tourism Today.
Oh, this is a big sandwich.
I really like the honey mustard sauce. And then like the crispy bacon on it as well.
Oh, it's proper jack cheese.
I love the spice. I love the crunch.
I love the original sandwich, but just that simple addition of bacon was like over the top.
The chicken is really good.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I rate this a 10 out of 10. I'd eat this again.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Tasha, what you saying? Girl, right here, rushing to cash J.S. Johnson. I gotta renew my insurance. Oh, I with JSJ too, but I don't wait in line. I just pay online. Stop it. How you do that?
Just email info@jsjohnson.com and say, sign me up for the online service center. They'll reach out and hook you up. You ain't never have to sign in line again.
Amen to that.
Save time. Pay online. Sign up for J.S. Johnson's online service center today.
Insurance, peace of mind.
Eyewitness Sports is brought to you by 103.5 The Beat.
Welcome to another edition of Eyewitness Sports. I'm Laurencia Smith. Thanks for joining us.
Carlin Archer is set to take his talents to the University of Auburn in the fall of 2026. The 17-year-old St. Augustine's College senior and a member of Upward Performance Club is one of the country's top young track and field stars. And he says he's excited about the opportunities and look forward to the challenges and the growth that lies ahead.
What went into my decision was it felt like a home. Like it was very home oriented. It's a small group for practice, so I feel like I'll get focused on more. It feels unreal because a couple of years, I didn't expect to go to this school. One of the top schools in the SEC, one of the top schools in America, so yeah.
Forward, what are some of the things that you have to critique in your performance before you make that big collegiate jump?
I have to work on my landing and how I come off the board.
Archer is looking to build on an impressive resume. At the 53rd edition of the Curve to Games in Grenada, he soared to a personal best with a mark of 7.68 meters to capture gold in the under-20 boys long jump. The standout athlete credited his success to the strong support system around him, saying his accomplishment would not have been possible without the encouragement of his family, coaches, teammates, and the wider community as they help guide his journey.
It's amazing. They have been supporting me from the beginning, so it feels amazing. All my coaches, Coach Cash, Coach Edwards, Coach Alfredo, and Coach Lamar. And I'd like to shout out my family and my teammates.
Now Archer intends to study business at Auburn University. All the best. Still talking news from the track. One of the Bahamas' top collegiate track and field stars is on the move. Olympic semifinalist and World Under-20 champion Anton Andrews has entered the NCAA transfer portal after 4 seasons with the Texas Tech Red Riders. The Bahamian hurdle is leaving Texas as one of the most decorated athletes in the program history. Andrew burst onto the international scene in 2022 when he captured gold in the 110-meter hurdles at the World Athletics Under-20 Champions, becoming the first Bahamian ever to win a global junior title in the event. Since then, he continues to build on his elite resume, earning NCAA All-American honors, collecting multiple Big 12 medals, and representing the 242 on the sport's biggest stage. In 2024, Andrews advanced to the semifinals of the men's 110 hurdle at the Paris Olympic Games before setting a new Bahamian national record in a time of 13.34 seconds. Earlier this year, he matched the national record in the 60-meter hurdles with a world-leading time of 7.49 seconds. Now in the transfer portal, Andrew immediately becomes one of the most sought-after track and field athletes available. Now, there has been no official announcement made where the Bahamian track athlete will be continuing his collegiate career.
Well, that's a quick look at sports at this hour. I'm Laurencia Smith. Stay tuned for more news on the other side of the break.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay Eden well.
Welcome to Paradise Premium Foods, where exceptional taste meets everyday convenience. Right in the heart of Hurricane Hole Plaza, whether you're planning a beachside brunch, an intimate dinner, or simply restocking your favorites, we offer only the finest selection of local and imported goods, handpicked for quality, freshness, and flavor. At Paradise Premium Foods, shopping is effortless, service is personal, and every visit feels like a treat. From gourmet meals to go to organic essentials and indulgent treats, this is your neighborhood market elevated. Live well, eat better. Discover Paradise Premium Foods, now open at Hurricane Hole Plaza, Paradise Island. Paradise Premium Foods. Taste the difference.
You're watching Eyewitness News.
Welcome back. Well, the Bahamas continuing its diplomatic engagements today as the Ministry of Foreign Affairs hosted a visit by the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. Goodwin Friday. The visit providing an opportunity for high-level discussions on regional cooperation, shared challenges, and the future of Caribbean development. Director General at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Jerusa Lee Dean, said the engagement also allowing leaders to exchange experiences as public figures while exploring ways to strengthen regional integration and advance the interests of small island states on the global stage. She noted that collaboration among Caribbean nations remains critical as the region navigates an increasingly complex international environment.
Well, it's really amazing to have a sitting prime minister of another CARICOM sister nation who conducted undergraduate, master's, and doctoral work on the Bahamas, and specifically on our political system, and on the establishment of our Ministry of External Affairs, which is now Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That's quite unusual. So we're really happy to have PM Goodwin Friday, and he's been recalling his fond memories of the Bahamas, albeit in the 1970s and 80s, but still fond memories.
General also stressing the importance of maintaining strong relationships with countries across the region amid ongoing global geopolitical issues and those that impact development and what they can have on Caribbean nations.
They impact cost of living, they impact the cost of fuel, and you see almost immediately the impact, but you're not aware of behind the doors diplomacy that happens. So we're stronger as a bloc. Our country believes in coordinated foreign policy responses under the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas. Whenever there's an incident, our foreign minister, our prime minister will hop on a call with his colleagues, and they will determine what is a consensus position from CARICOM, and that's communicated. And it's important. It's important for us to explain our value of rule of law, the significance that we placed on the UN and other multilateral frameworks, because no matter where you have a complex emergency or hostilities, we do have friends all over the world.
Well, that wraps up news this Thursday, not Friday, but coming up and Beyond the Headlines with Shanique Miller, it's a look at all of this week's top stories. That's coming up and Beyond the Headlines. It starts right after this. That does it for us here at Eyewitness News. It's certainly been a pleasure having you in our company tonight. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Janae Noel saying good night, be safe, and have a great holiday weekend, everyone.
Wealth should not only belong to a select few. At Investar, we believe the door should be open to everyone. We provide options for planning a better future. Our investment funds are designed to assist you in reaching your long-term financial goals. Let us show you how.
We all know there are ways we can help. Your help can go even further. Be an everyday superhero. Donate to Hands for Hunger.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, callers, and advisors on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2026. All rights reserved.
Coming up tonight, additional fees to take effect every 2 years as it relates to your NIB contributions. Well, that's not sitting too well with many of you tonight. Meanwhile, this story, the government giving away permanent residency for only $500. Bahamian social media outraged all day today, saying the government is giving away the country to Haitians. We talk about it with Louis Georges tonight. Also tonight, Michael Alcides responds to calls for his resignation. Is he minded to heed those calls? And the F&M says no convention until next year. We talk about that as well. It's all straight ahead for you tonight. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Well, a change is coming to paychecks for thousands of Bahamian workers and the businesses that employ them. Beginning next month, both employees and employers will be required to contribute more to the National Insurance Board as officials move to shore up the Social Security Fund amid growing demands on the system. Many believe this is a new tax. And we're going to start right there this evening. What are your thoughts? Is this a new tax? Were you blindsided, you feel? Well, a lot of you are expressing just this sentiment on social media all day today. We're going to get into it right now this evening with NIB's director, an executive director at the National Insurance Board, Tammy Francis. Ms. Francis, good evening to you. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. It's great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Ms. Francis, I know you've heard the people. The people are saying, first of all, when they could see you here and they hear stuff like this, they see the headlines, they see the social media discussions and debates, like what are you all thinking? Where are you all coming with this new tax again to saddle and put on the backs of the Bahamian people to create yet another burden?
Well, good evening, Bahamas. I think it is fitting for me to open with letting everyone know that this is not a contribution rate increase. And what that means is this increase does not affect all workers in the Bahamas. This will only affect a few, and I would say 18% of the persons who contribute into national insurance. The other 82%, they will not be affected.
So you are saying whatever increases it is that we are about to describe and talk about, they will not affect the majority of the working population.
Correct.
Now, what about those persons who were just so happy the last term of this administration when their minimum wage was increased? I think it's around $260 a week. Does this apply to them?
This does not affect them at all. So whatever they would have been paying into national insurance yesterday, as of July 1st, 2026, they will continue to pay the same amount. So nothing is going to change for them.
So let's break it down.
Okay.
This, now, you all heard that. This does not affect you if you are paid weekly on a minimum wage or anywhere in that category. It does not affect you. Whatever this sort of additional fee that will be paid and every 2 years increase doesn't apply to you. Who does it apply to?
So I think it's very important that I say this. In July of 2024, we had two specific things happening at National Insurance. We had our contribution rate increase that affects all workers. We also had what we call, and I'll say it slowly, a biennial insurable wage increase. Or we're saying that every 2 years, we are mandated by law to increase the amount that the $810 per week that you pay on international insurance, we're going to increase that every 2 years. Now, what that causes is those persons who may be higher paid, that makes their payments into national insurance a little bit more relevant in that they are able to receive benefits that are would be closer to what they are receiving.
So one, this increase or this now, how you pronounce that, biennial increase will reflect what those salaries are. And then by extension, the persons in that bracket, in the US they would call it tax bracket, in that income bracket would then benefit even greater from national insurance.
Yes.
Okay, let's break that down. Now, is this is not the same increases whether it's every 2 years or anything that Alfred Sears would have talked about a couple years ago?
Yeah, it's just coincidental that it's the same 1.5%. So I think people may be looking at it as the same thing. So again, we would have had several recommendations made, and the government took the step of increasing the contribution rate. That affected everybody. But right now, what we are doing is ensuring that when you and I retire, or if you are sick, or you have a baby, we're ensuring that the cost of living, as that changes, the value, your spending value that you would have had today, we ensure that it is not increased ad hocly. We have legislated increases, and we're ensuring that at the end of the day, that whatever you are paying and you're going to be paying on is actually is going to give you a little bit more that, like I said, that is closer to what you would have been making.
And what you are sort of used to. For example, talk about the mother on maternity leave or who has just given birth.
So let me take it all the way back to give you an idea. Today, we have a maternity grant of $560. What this initiative is going to do is increase that $560 for that mother who would have had the child, maternity grant. And what maternity grant, let me explain that as well. What the maternity grant is, it's a one-time payment to a mother who has had a live birth, right? Now, in order to qualify for that, you would have to have paid into national insurance about a year. So that's about 50 contributions, right? And if you do not have those 50 contributions and you're married and your husband has the 50 contributions,
you still benefit.
Yes.
Oh, that is excellent.
You're able to get that payment.
Yes.
So that $560, that's today, will increase to $570. So you will see over time, I remember way back when it was around 250, and now you see it increasing. So you have had, and I took a look at it. What has been happening since the inception of national insurance? These increases would have taken, on average, 14 to 13 years, 13 to 14 years to happen. But because we have this mandated, legislated, automatic increase, this now happens every 2 years. So we are ensuring that we're looking at what's happening with regards to cost of living.
Right.
And we're ensuring that we keep your payment, or we keep your benefits rather, relevant to you, as opposed to us making a decision out of crisis. But this is every 2 years. Think about it. National insurance every 2 years is going to ensure that these benefits
match
increasing.
with exactly, for example, you hear people talk about inflation, the cost of living,
Right.
and this and that. And right now, you may be sort of outpaced by what's happening. So this allows you to catch up and keep pace. That's why the increase is every 2 years, so that you are there where that person is and their income, their wages. And so what they're used to, that sort of standard of living, quality of life, they will benefit or be given a grant on that level.
Right. And just think about it. I'll use my mother, for example. She would have received her pension maybe about 30 years ago, 20, 30 years ago. The price of bread, with her pension, then, she may have been able to afford that price of loaf of bread. But today, if her pension remained or stayed what it was back when, she may not be able to afford that loaf of bread. So we have to ensure that we have to look at it in terms of spending, especially for our pensioners. You have 50,000 pensioners. We're paying every month, on average, $34 million every month. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, and as we look at these increases, I know many people, of course, yeah, we don't want an increase, but we have to really take a step back and look at the bigger picture, because in terms of I want to ensure that when I retire, there's something there for me.
I was about to ask you about that, because there's been so much talk about the fund, meaning NIB, being drained, and the fund not being able to be sustainable for much longer because of the demands and the increased demands on it. This biennial
Yes.
increase sort of helps with ensuring that the fund is there for many, many years to come.
What is important is we have to remember that no one measure is going to be the savior for the fund. So we have to compile several methods together so that they work in tandem to get us where we need to be. So our goal is long-term sustainability. So we have several measures that may give us short-term, medium-term, but the ultimate goal is to get there in the long term, so
Right.
that later on, when you and I get there,
The fund is there.
Exactly.
The fund is there
Exactly.
to help us and assist. I mean, and social security measures are nothing new for any nation. We used to hearing it maybe called different things. For example, the United States, social security. But this is what this is. And so therefore we have heard for decades now the need to shore up this fund, meaning the NIB.
Now, see, it's also too, it's important, the work we do is solidarity. It is solidarity. And the best way, I explain it to many of the Gen Z workers of national insurance so that they can understand it. What is solidarity for NIB? We have the well, they pay for the sick. The employed pays for the unemployed. The young pays for the old, and so on and so on and so on. So at the end of the day, we are ensuring that what you are expecting at the end of your work life, there's something there for you. So, like I said earlier, no one person or the employers may not want the increase, but let me quantify it for you. So for our employees, This increase for those persons who make more than $810,
yes.
let's take it to the $830. They will be paying into national insurance with this increase 93 cents more per week.
So it's still not something that's leaning so heavily on their income. What is that increase again that'll happen come July 1st and every 2 years moving forward?
So we're right now it's just the 1.5%, but you have for the employee that represents who would be at the $830.
Yes.
That will represent an additional 93 cents per week.
So less than $1 additionally to what they already pay.
That's 4 minutes.
What is it?
4 minutes. And for the employer, $1.33 more per week. Right? And with that, with $1.33 more per week, you really have to take a look at the end of the day, this is going to help us to be able to continue paying our beneficiaries as well.
It's like an investment into the future. I love that because I want you to go back and talk about the pensioners and talk about new pensioners. Okay, well, us investing into retirement. This is sort of what allows you that opportunity as well, and to benefit on the level that you are accustomed to in terms of matching the pay you would have earned throughout the years on a monthly basis.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually a good thing for workers. When you think about it. For me, at the end of the day, I would want it to increase a lot more. Not saying if God forbid, I fall ill, I would want my payment to be very close to my weekly earnings.
Right, your earnings.
As much as possible.
And this is what this is kind of sort of seeking to do. And I imagine every 2 years, once those increase take shape and it's sort of tweaked, it will eventually sort of, in terms of look similar to what you've been earning. There's also something obviously for end of life. Families will benefit and receive greater benefit as well, where it's able to help them and help the grief process. There's also, of course, and I spoke of that, but workers, of course, again, as we said, this is for those on that threshold right there. You saw that. That is 800, earning more than $830, somewhere around there. This increase only applies to them. Minimum wage workers will not be impacted. This does not apply to you. And of course, once you get there, then you'll be happy to be able to make this sort of investment into how your future will look, and if in the need to kind of take advantage of NIB from time to time, then you'll be able to feel better getting that benefit. Anything else you would like to say as we wrap up?
I would say this. I want everyone to understand that at the end of the day, this is shared security. Shared security. I spoke about solidarity.
Shared security.
Yes, shared security. So the workers, you're going to contribute a little bit more. Employers, you're going to contribute a little bit more. But guess what? Together, what that does, that helps to keep our system stable for all of us who depend on it. So I think it is a good thing. And I would say take some time to really listen to what has been put out there today to get an understanding. We're not trying to tax everyone. We're just trying to ensure that whatever you are receiving is more so relevant. And at the end of the day, we are ensuring that those precious pearls, they are valued and they are covered, and we are dealing with them with a level of fairness.
Thank you very much, Tammy Francis, for coming and speaking to. The minute this went out there as a headline, NIB executives came and wanting to make you, number one, more relaxed and comfortable with this announcement, and for you to have a better understanding, one, that it doesn't impact the average person, it impacts people who earn in a different category, and then the benefits from having to pay less than $1 more of what they, in addition to what they've already been paying, the added benefits that come with that. Thank you very much for being here, Madam Director. Good to see you once again.
Thank you.
When we come back, is the Davis administration giving away permanent residency? That's right, you heard it. It's all over social media. People are livid. Well, we're going to get to the bottom of this tonight, right after the break. Stay close.
Hey, it's your boy Charlie Bahama here at Superwash, Superwash's newest spokesmodel, and I'm here to tell you about Superwash's large capacity washers and dryers for all your big loads.
I know I see that Charlie Banana coming here just now.
Uh-oh. Luckily, it's also big enough for me to hide it.
I thought he was right over here where these large capacity water and dryers is. It's big enough now to handle your big loads, you know. Yeah, like you can put on your blanket. But just look at us. Somebody forget to turn on the dryer. Oh, stop! You hear something? Yeah, that's the sound of clean. Superwash washes you, processes you, and entertains you 24/7.
Wealth should not only belong to a select few. At Investar, we believe the door should be open to everyone. We provide options for planning a better future. Our investment funds are designed to assist you in reaching your long-term financial goals. Let us show you how.
Welcome to Paradise Premium Foods, where exceptional taste meets everyday convenience. Right in the heart of Hurricane Hole Plaza, whether you're planning a beachside brunch, an intimate dinner, or simply restocking your favorites, we offer only the finest selection of local and imported goods, handpicked for quality, freshness, and flavor. At Paradise Premium Foods, shopping is effortless, service is personal, and every visit feels like a treat. From gourmet meals to go to organic essentials and indulgent treats, this is your neighborhood market elevated. Live well, eat better. Discover Paradise Premium Foods, now open at Hurricane Hole Plaza, Paradise Island. Paradise Premium Foods. Taste the difference.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. It's great to have you all tuned in this evening. We're going to get right into another story that's had many of you talking and discussing angry today. And it's this. The Davis administration is proposing a significant change to the country's nationality laws. Under the Bahamas Nationality Amendment Bill 2026, individuals who qualify for citizenship but are denied could still be granted permanent residency, making life a whole lot easier for them in the Bahamas. It's the proposal to change the fee structure from the once $50 an application to now $500 an application, something that's been happening, I imagine, since before independence. But that has so many Bahamians very angry today. The thought is that the government is giving away our sovereignty. Well, Bahamians, of course, we're going to get to that. Outspoken advocate, a noted, I guess, just voice really on all things, whether it's Haitian human rights and getting people educated and understanding exactly their rights and what comes with that here in the Bahamas, is Luby Georges. Luby, good evening to you. It's good to have you here. Good to have you. I haven't seen you on the show in a minute, but it's good to have you here, Luby. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Shanika, and good evening, Bahamas. It's been quite a while.
It's been a minute. Luby, but are you surprised at the outrage? I mean, first of all, let's just kind of explain this $50 to $500 because people feel as though, wait a minute, are you all saying that people can become permanent residents, and they really mean Haitians, permanent residents of the Bahamas for only $500?
Well, opening salvo, and before I start, I want to send a special shout out to the great people of St. Anne's and also Senator, the great Kino Wong, who is tuned in with his family and team. So good evening to the people of St. Anne's and Senator Kino Wong. You, in your opening statement, spoke about the fee scale of $50, which is being proposed now to be amended and changed to $500. That is a significant jump. I would think that people would be clapping hooray for that. Let us be clear. This amendment changes nothing as it relates to the Constitution. It changes nothing as it relates to the Nationality Act. It changes nothing as it relates to the Immigration Act, aside from and except from the fee scale for persons who were ordinarily eligible to apply for citizenship.
So these people are already in a different category. They
Altogether.
ain't just the average person who
Not at all.
woke up today and say, let me go be a permanent resident. No, they kind of almost already qualified because of being eligible for citizenship.
The Constitution, the Nationality Act already outlines who are eligible. You can go right now on Google. I would encourage everyone to do so. Go on the Department of Immigration's website. You can go to citizenship, residency, all of the various services and permits, and you will see at the very top, it speaks to who are automatically Bahamian citizen. So for persons like yourself being born in the Bahamas, do Bahamian parents, yada, yada. It also goes down and speaks to who are eligible to apply for citizenship. And it breaks down those different categories of individuals. So again, these are persons who are already eligible to apply for citizenship.
And somehow already in the system, because it goes further to say the minister, or for whatever reason, they were denied or the approval was not granted. So therefore, they were kind of steered in the direction of permanent residency.
And again, Shanique, this is nothing new. That's the crazy part, which I don't understand. You know, I don't, and let me preface everything I'm saying again. I should have started with this. I don't work for the government. I've never had a government job before.
Hold
so
on,
I don't speak.
you ain't no consultant or something like, because
I'm a private consultant. I don't speak on behalf of the government. I also do not speak on behalf of the PLP. But we have to speak sense and we have to speak facts. We can agree or disagree. All right? Let us debate what the actual amendment is proposing to do and not what we imagine it is doing.
You know, we've seen everything there, Luby, and I want people to understand as well. It's proposing right now to do one thing.
One thing
and
only.
that is perhaps since before independence, whomever qualified were paying $50 per application for permanent residency. And what is being proposed is this, that $50 be increased to $500.
So you would have persons who would pay the processing fees and provide the documents to satisfy the application process. They would go through the application process. You would have the interview, you would have the test, you would have all of these things happen, the back, investigations going on. And if, for whatever reason, the minister, the cabinet, whomever, decides that, you know what, you're not ready for citizenship, they then, and this has been practiced under the FNM, and under the PLP, that guess what? Hey, today we do not find that you are eligible or should be approved for citizenship. So, in lieu of that, we're going to offer you permanent residency because you already had a claim to citizenship.
Right.
Let us not forget that part. These are persons who are eligible as per the Constitution of this country for citizenship already. You're talking about not just persons born to foreign parents in the country. You're talking about Bahamian women who may have married a foreign man and had a child abroad. You're talking about women who married Bahamian men.
There's so many different categories that someone finds themselves in the Bahamas eligible for citizenship.
Eligible.
And can be granted or denied.
We cannot state that piece of fact enough. These, again, are persons who were already, as per the Constitution, Articles 5, 7, 9, 10, I think it is, already eligible to apply and to receive citizenship. You may fail your test. You don't know the national this and the national that, and who wrote the national anthem and who's the first governor general. Maybe you don't know the pledge and you failed the test, maybe. Maybe it's a 60% you may have to receive on the test and you failed that with 55. Okay, you didn't pass the test. So guess what? We'll give you permanent residency. Check us back in another 5 years. And now what the government is saying is that instead of you paying a measly $50
That's perhaps
we will
perhaps
increase
never
it
been increased
to $500.
Right. Yeah.
Also,
Now I want to ask you this though, and while I hope you all are understanding what that is, there's no overhaul to the law, no amendment saying that the people gonna get
None of the laws are
like
changing.
anybody could get this
No
permanent residency
law
for
is
this
changing.
500. No law is being changed. Exactly. Just one proposal, and that is that. But I want to ask you this: is this some sort of, Luby, a discouragement for people who fit in this category? They qualify, they're going to go and get, they're interested in pursuing the avenue of permanent residency, but they're like, dang, that is more than what, tenfold, this increase? Have you heard any of that?
none at all. I see it as a positive in my personal opinion. I've seen, you have also instances where persons have applied for citizenship, persons born in the country, went to school here, this is the only country they know, yada yada. You're now an adult, you apply. Let's say that person is refused. Now what is your status?
And that's another question.
You're in a gray area now.
A gray area.
That's an anomaly.
But many have been in that gray area for
Exactly.
decades. What does this do for the person who has been eligible, somehow perhaps denied, missed that window, all the other things that we have heard over the years as why many people weren't processed, but then they can get this? What does this now do for them and their belonging, their future, being able to make real contributions, that type thing?
Not only for them, let's think country-wise. The immigration department is very strict, very detailed on immigration breaches, right? Overstaying, a permit being denied.
I'm
going to get back to your point. I just want to bring home something.
But I want you to bring this home as well, right while you're bringing that home. Because during the election campaign, a lot was made about, and this administration promised that they're going to do more, greater follow-up if you overstay one day. But you're saying many of those measures are already in place and already strict.
They've always been in place. So again, this does not allow for any loopholes or encouragement for persons to, and the proverbial floodgates. This does not apply to that at all. A parent or a mother, father, two persons who decided to enter the Bahamas, whether legally or illegally, should they have a child in the Bahamas, should their status not be up to date, they are still subjected to the immigration regulations that we have in place. Arrest, charged, taken before a court, they can be fined, they can be imprisoned, ultimately they will be deported. And the child that they had in the Bahamas will follow them to their home country. You will go back with them. Now, after some years, through the consulates and embassies or processes that we have in place, they can try to apply for some sort of status on their own as an adult now. And what this says to me is, guess what? You grew up somewhere else. Yes, the Constitution recognizes you, but you ain't paying enough maybe. You're not cultured enough. You didn't school here. The social studies, you didn't do it here. So guess what? Instead of us giving you citizenship, we're going to give you permanent residency. And instead of giving it for $50, you're going to pay $500.
Yeah.
So think about that.
Yeah. I want to ask you, Luby, we just came out of, we know the election seasons and how they are. Sometimes there are themes running throughout each season. Well, this election, immigration was the hot button issue.
It was.
Your thoughts on sort of almost taking the lazy way out, and mind you, not that there isn't an illegal immigration problem. I'm not dismissing that.
There is.
But I'm saying the fact that immigration, and in particular one set of people, Haitians, were vilified for being the big elephant in the room, and this floodgate, as you mentioned a moment ago, that they were just waiting to do that, and you know,
well, Shanique,
all that
you
going?
know what, to tie it into that, today proved something. Today really verified and confirmed that many of us that are speaking on immigration, at whatever end of the spectrum, that we are not study approved. Many of us have not read the Immigration Act. Many of us have not read the Nationality Act. Many of us have not read and studied the relevant portions of the Constitution that deals with immigration itself also. And so you had two political parties, in my opinion, that were, throwing this immigration thing at the wall and hoping that it would stick and that it would carry them home. I think the FNM piggybacked on the COI. The COI had a lead in that regards, But I think ultimately, though, right-thinking Bahamians didn't get any other, substance from both political parties, and we see what the results were.
Do you believe, as we wrap up, it will be that this proposed change to the legislation, to the amendment, to the bill, 2026 bill, that it strikes the right balance between sovereignty and human rights?
I think it does. I think it does. Permanent residency could range as far as $25,000 in this country. You know that?
No.
Permanent residency permits can range as far as $25,000. But we are talking about a category of people again that under the Constitution are already eligible to apply. This is not about somebody that came yesterday and
basically
say,
already
went
through the process because they are in the system.
They went through the process and for some reason or the other, the minister or the cabinet may find that, guess what, citizenship a little bit too much right now. You failed on some, scale, so permanent residency for you. But you'll pay $500 as opposed to $50. This is no new practice. This was done under the FNM. It was done under the PLP, all previous administrations. I know people personally applied for citizenship. They say, no, this was not approved, but we will grant you permanent residency as opposed to citizenship. Here's the fee, $50. Now this government is saying, we can tax you. You can pay $500.
And it's good for the public purse.
It is good for the public purse. And also, what it also does, sorry, before we leave, you just had NIB on.
That's right.
It brings these persons now from that gray area into the formal economy, into the formal system.
Yes.
So we can better plan. We know how many people that we have. We know how many beds that we need to plan for. And these persons can now contribute to NIB properly. Because before, if you were denied, but you didn't break any immigration laws because you were born here, you didn't enter illegally, you didn't this, you didn't that, you broke no laws. You can't be arrested, you can't be taken before court, you can't be deported, but yet you're not part of the formal economy, the formal society. What this does is bring those persons in fold, and they can contribute their fair share in taxes and to society.
Simply, I mean, we talk about getting that fund nice and healthy and new hospitals
but these persons
and all
are
the
here,
rest of it, and they are here. So bring them out of the shadows,
let them pay.
Put them there and let them pay. Like everybody else, absolutely. Luby Georges, thank you very much for being here this evening. Of course, again, an advocate for human rights and other forms of just education is what Luby has made his business outside of his formal work. And so he's been doing this for a number of years, and I thank you for stopping by this evening.
Thank you so much, Sinead.
Looking forward to perhaps talking again very soon. Thank you once again, Luby. Don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we're going to get some opinions. Does the panel agree with everything you heard him say, or the NIB increase? We're going to get to that and a lot more. Remember, the FNM says no convention this year. I'll hear what they have to say about that as well. Beyond the Headlines is backward after this.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay Eden well.
So you want a space But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience, with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you all tuned in. And we had a lot tonight, right? In just short segments, but still a lot of information, very important information at that. I'm going to bring in the Hot Topics panel right now and welcome a new member. I would call you that. I hope that you don't just stop by once and I don't see you again. But a new member, Ruben Ramming, it's good to have you here. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. We do a whole lot here, Ruben. We have fun, we laugh, a bit of satire, but we get about trying to push this nation forward with varying views. And also, of course, Peggy, good evening to you. It's good to have you here as well. And so you all sat through, the NIB, and you heard with that biennial, I think I pronounced that correctly, every 2 years increase for persons of a certain income bracket to be able to, so that they get more from benefits. And then, of course, in the second segment, you heard Luby Georges here speaking about a proposal and something that the government is considering at the moment, which is increasing that $50 application fee for permanent residency to $500. And some people might say it's nothing, but Ruben and Peggy, that created such a chaotic madhouse on social media today, because people were like, this is exactly what we thought that the PLP was going to do if they had won, and obviously they did, and now they're doing it. Your thoughts on just what it is to make what's being proposed to make these people though pay more, so that one, the Treasury gets more, and to bring those people out the shadows and get them into officially the way of life and contributing and just being Bahamian.
Good night, Shanique. Good night, Mr. Ramming. Nice to share this platform with you. Good evening, Bahamas. Shanique, I'm going to use the word progressive. I know people will be a little sore, but I think it is a progressive move. But I cannot go any further without addressing the misinformation that I think is intentionally put out there to gaslight Bahamians and anybody else who would participate in the national conversation. I've read comments and headlines that say, oh, they're selling citizenship for $500.
Yeah.
And this is poor. This is a tragedy, simply because those who are supposed to be responsible for getting the correct information to advance Bahamians and Bahamians' thinking are using the misfortune of Bahamians, this disdain that has been cultivated by politicians and politics against, especially the Asian nationals, during the campaign season that we just recently been through. And I think individuals are continuing to feed the hostility, to feed the misinformation, to gaslight, to get them angry. Oh, this is what the government is going to do. Oh, they said they were going to do it. This is why you all wasn't supposed to vote progress. And you are doing, whoever is responsible for that story, you're doing a disservice to your country. And I will call you most unpatriotic. You have to be responsible. You want a informed set of people. You don't want to use the people as your weapon to bring down a government or make a government look bad.
It's urgent that we educate and be responsible, Ruben. Educate, and on this show, yes, we may laugh about something, but it's important because we saw, for example, just that play out whenever it did, maybe during the election season in terms of the campaign, or maybe when Philip Davis was re-elected, but we saw what happened in Bimini, and I don't know if the lady knew better or not, or if many of us even know the law and protocols as it relates to elected officials like you and a prime minister, and what should happen. And so it's important for us to put the right information out there. Yes, you may have different varying points of view about it, but it's important to at least present it out there so people make up their own minds.
We're just simply too slack. We're too lazy. And that's our problem. And we need to stop following gossip and listen to facts. We got to understand that death and life is in the power of the tongue. And everything you say, you must be accountable for in this world or the next. Mm-hmm. I don't follow the gossip. I don't follow Facebook. I don't even follow politics. I am in politics, but I am Ruben before I am anything else. Because I'm accountable for everything I got to say. So whatever I have to say, I have to believe in or know it to the best of my knowledge, and I leave room for doubt. We follow hype, and it causes problems. First of all, there is a problem with immigration. There is a problem with the Haitian population, but does it rise to the level of hate and disdain? I don't believe in that. I love my Haitians. I love everybody of every ethnicity for the proper reasons that we're supposed to. Then two, we are poorly socialized in this country, and we've become soundbite people. Yes. And make serious judgments on soundbite. Yeah. All my time in the House and in the Senate, the time I wait for to prepare my debates, I wait till I sit in there and I hear the person who's moving and seconding the bill tell me what their bill's supposed to be. Yes, I might have read it and get my interpretation, but how dare I draw a conclusion until I hear the other side? That is critical to judiciary, that's critical to everything else. The lady in Bimini, which you speak to in that regard, poor socializations. Our country is never devoid of a prime minister. In that moment when he says the last word of the oath, the former prime minister demits, and bam, there's never a vacancy in that function. Provost Marshal is only there because the House is dissolved, but cabinet executive that runs the country, though the House, the elected body, has been dissolved. And we don't understand these things. The proper protocols of police officers and how they're supposed to salute and respect the prime minister. Once that election happened, I keep saying, that's my prime minister, that's our prime minister, because if he jack up, we lose 5 years. What part of that you don't understand?
Yes.
Quite frankly, I don't care who it is. I just want a good 5 years. I thought that this guy might do it. I thought this guy may do it. But if you're there, all hands on deck. We look at this matter with immigration again. I ain't got time to sift through all the kind of foolishness and things I see going on. But the government has a duty of care to communicate.
Yes.
All right? When I first look at it, listen here, this is the Nassau Guardian. This y'all know Nassau Guardian. An amendment to the Bahamas Nationality Act would allow the Minister of Immigration to, for a $500 fee, grant permanent residency to people whose citizenship application has been denied. What that say?
It says they're giving away the
what it says, what it communicates.
It communicates that
this government
is giving
and everyone who speaks, including you and me, when we speak, people should not be out there trying to grasp what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that we clearly communicate what is actually being said. Here it is right now. We sit down. And some saying, even Louis said, there is an amendment. Anything that changes an amendment, even a fee is a part of a bill, for God's sake. Yes. So if it changes, there is an amendment to the bill.
Yes.
But I heard from you two that some person is saying, I'm moving it from $50 to $500. Just from my basic understanding, even that ain't true. Because the one fee, which is the lowest fee for $50, relates to the person who qualified under the Constitution to have citizenship. They only pay a token fee of $50. This next category of $500 could not be that. How could it be that if it's for people who should have met the qualification but maybe missed a portion? Say, for instance, the Constitution put a time limit. So you could have everything that qualify you, but you missed the day by a day. Constitutionally, you can't get it because you missed the date. The same way with elections. If you miss the nomination cutoff time, you ain't nominated. All right? And so there is a concession that we see you did qualify, but you didn't apply on your 18th birthday or by your 18th birthday.
Right.
So therefore, we can do this. That is a separate category because the only other two categories in there, the only other one for 500 is the one is for if a married Bahamian couple have a child on the outside, all right, then that person could get this residency for $500. And then the second one separates it from the fact of persons who are non-married that speak to persons and who are that same person, then they do it for $1,000. So this is a category now, looking at it, for persons who meet that standard, then you do this and you do this and you get $500.
Well, I'll tell you, and you know, I'm happy, and this is why, like, for example, many of my panelists are former members of parliament, they senators, also politicians, those who were seeking office, and those who were educated in other areas. And I love it. You know why? The thoughts that the information, like provided, for example, by Ruben is fantastic. I spoke with Darren Pickstock earlier this evening. He is the state minister for immigration, and I invited him. I'm like, listen, whether it's after the budget, because I know that's the focus now for every minister, but come and explain this, because what you explained and what Ruby said, even up to $25,000
for economic permanent residency.
Right.
So there's categories.
Come and explain all these various categories. You mentioned $1,000 a moment ago as well. These various categories must be explained from the 50 all the way up to the 500 and then beyond. Let us understand it and let the Bahamian people also know that, listen, no, this ain't nothing different and new and giving away and opening a floodgate. This is what this is for those people who are eligible because of birth and
Let's give
those
the
other
government
things.
some fault then to satisfy the frustrations. All right. Okay, you're wrong. Maybe something as a modus as this, it may be simple to you, but you understood the tone of the election, the concern. You should just take this right after the budget debate, just go ahead and debate it as one solid little separate little thing where you could talk about it. Because the problem with a budget debate is that you signal what is coming before you talk about it substantively. So when it's signaled in the summary by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, of Financial, Michael Akitas, who would give a summary, he would touch on things and then start a firestorm.
Yes.
Whereas if you had left this to be substantively debated, when it rises, the person who stand on his feet speak directly to it, lay the whole thing out, and before the opposition or anybody else can speak, the second to come and put the second layer on it, and then the opposition come, and you would have had a better time.
And you're right, because this has been the way we have done budgets. So you give the big headline grabbing pieces, Peggy, and you put these out there, and you're right. People just run with it, and until the substantive minister comes and explains and breaks it down.
Yeah, but I agree with Mr. Rubin. It is, you starting fires unnecessarily. And then I want to speak to the situation with Article 7. I think the state minister should have been here tonight. This is important. This is essential, especially when you see the conversation and the heated debates that are taking place based on misinformation. Your responsibility is to immediately correct it. Come speak to the people, because the damage that has been done in the last 24 or 12 hours, I mean, it's going to take, you'll be accused of this until re-election again.
And Peggy, I said to him, Peggy and Ruben, I said to him, do not be caught in the position of catch up. This term.
You don't catch up with politics.
The social media will leave you so far behind, and your head will be spinning because you will wonder what happened. And so again, Darren Pickstock and any other minister and anybody else, come talk to the Bahamian people. Meanwhile, you all, I'm not going to call for this soundbite because I really want to get to another story. Finance Minister Michael Alkitis is shutting down suggestions that he could be stepping down. Of course, we all know that people raise concerns and the Free National Movement regarding prior involvement with the construction company that convicted alleged drug dealer Eric Gardner has been associated with. That's Top-Notch Builders. Alkitis says that he remains focused on serving effectively in his post as finance minister. And so Peggy and Ruben, Alkitis says he's not going anywhere. He says he has nowhere to go anywhere for. Your thoughts on him coming out and finally speaking to this?
The word you use, finally, communication. Deal with these issues as they arise. Don't allow 3, 4, 5 days of misinformation, of people speculating, calling. I mean, there was a choir going on saying you must resign. It is important. And we talk about reputational risk. You don't want at the first week something hanging over your head that is so transforming of people's opinion of you. And so I'm going to say it publicly. If you all don't protect yourself and communicate, then the damage that will be done to you, you will have to live with it.
Quite frankly, I serve with Michael Alcides, and I would be lying if I don't look this camera in the eye and say, I really love the man. I respect the man personally. And we battle hard politically. We don't meet personally. I a sense of character. So it was, a lot of us probably feel it, saying, I sure there's a lot of other person that we'd like to see heads roll. Communication is key. He had an obligation. Life would have been better if, in even his initial declaration, the details reflected what was written in the report. Even if he had said he was the president, that would have been a bit better for him in that regard. But the biggest thing that works against Michael Alcides was the pronouncement of the Prime Minister when he was in opposition. The standard that he set in opposition is now coming home to roost against Senator Alcides. However, nonetheless, I am looking at that and I'm just saying, God, let me just watch and see exactly how this all roll out. Because I want us to remember, let's all treat everybody the way we expect to be treated. And we want to make sure things are properly adjudicated. So give your thoughts, give everything else, but stay within that proper realm of the fact that I don't know it all, you don't know it all, and let's see what happens and see how the chips fall where they may.
Absolutely,
Do not destroy someone with words that a simple retraction could never undo.
Absolutely. And I've been very careful in terms of this whole matter. I mean, of course, obviously discussing Alcides and the calls for his resignation, but very careful because just as you say, let's wait until this all, the information is out there, the trial happens, and we see exactly who's what, who's tied where, and we go from there.
And we're not restricting people's communication, you know.
Yes.
We say and be responsible because it is juicy. It is news.
Of course it's juicy.
The back and forth. So I'm not saying you can't even talk about him, but we still need to get beyond a certain point of where you don't know, then you be quiet.
But that's where I am. I don't know, so I'm quiet. It's as simple as that. Meanwhile, and I know we were supposed to get to the F&M convention. That's coming. Don't worry. I'm not going to leave that. Well, I mean, tonight I'll come another show, you know. But I want to say this. Our viewer says, I have been married to a Bahamian since 1973, applied for permanent residency in 1979. It was granted in 1983, at which time the fee was $50. Didn't I say that? Since the time of independence. And so the increase to $500 is only that. So people are happy for the increase, especially those who have gone through it and been through it. They are happy for the increase.
But the increase is a different category.
It's
a category of persons who did not meet the standard for full citizenship. They are now being accommodated. So it is an adjustment, but the fee is small things.
See, Minister picks up. This conversation is happening without you.
Absolutely. He's invited here, and I look forward to having him here so we can discuss that and much more. Meanwhile, though, I thank you, of course, our Director at the National Insurance Board, Tammy Francis. Thank you very much for being here this evening. In the middle of the show, Luby Georges. Luby, thank you so much for stopping by this evening as well and speaking on this very emotive topic. Continues to be emotive, which is immigration. And then, of course, Peggy, good to have you here.
Thank you.
Ruben, it's good to welcome you.
Hot topic.
Ruben, you fit right in. Good to welcome you, of course. And of course, to all of you tuning in this evening, thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm
the Verizon Media Group, home of ILTV, Paramount Systems Limited, Eyewitness News, and Beyond the Headlines.